Welcome everyone. We are here today for the demo day of the Product Management Bootcamp. This is the September-November edition. So today we are gonna see 9 presentations from the students, and then tomorrow we will have another 7 presentations. Remember, girls, that you have around 8 minutes for your presentation, and then you have some extra minutes for Q&A. So some of your instructors are connected here. Thank you for being here, and thank you also to the instructors and the TAs and the mentors for your support throughout the bootcamp, and especially for your help for the projects. We will start today with a brief introduction by Anita. She will present the challenges that you have been working on. So Anita, whenever you're ready.
All right. Hello, everyone. Very good afternoon or evening. Well, kind of depends how you define that. So it's graduation day. This marks the beginning of the next step. It's time to put what you've learned here to some good use. And all of you came to this academy with very different levels of experience and knowledge about product management. But as you leave this academy, I strongly believe that each one of you is going to become a really, really great product manager. And I would like to thank all of you for teaching us just as much as we hope to have taught you. So it's time to show us what you've learned. I will introduce the class project, which most of our students have been working on. And I'm going to just give you a little bit of context about the company Glovo, which is the company that I'm working for as a product program manager, and basically explain the tasks that we gave to the students. So I'm going to try and share my screen. Here we go. All right. So everybody here who lives in Barcelona, I assume that you have heard about Glovo. Here we go. There's the screen. So this company was founded in 2015 by these two men, these two guys. They are right now, Oscar is still our CEO, and Sasha Michaud is our head of public affairs, or VP, Vice President of Public Affairs at Glovo. And back in the day, back in 2015, they were the two people that were actually operating Glovo, the company, the courier service. They were delivering orders from A to B. They were taking the phone, and they were doing like the actual job, everything that Glovo is right now. And nowadays, Glovo is a company of like thousands of employees. Just in engineering, we have 500 engineers and like 30 or 40 product managers right now. This is the company vision, to give everybody easy access to anything in their city. And this goes from delivering the food that a lot of you might have ordered with Glovo, like prepared food from restaurants, to flowers, to toys, to keys for your house or important documents, and also to, like, apparently somebody has asked a courier or has ordered a courier to bring home their kid from the kindergarten. So yeah, anything is possible in your city with Glovo. These are the countries that we currently operate in. I hope I took the most accurate screenshot here. That's the last slide that I have seen, at least at Glovo, at work. But yeah, we're expanding very, very quickly, and we keep on expanding to new countries. As you can see, we're mostly in Southern and Eastern Europe and in several different African countries as well. So important to know is that Glovo is a 3-pillar marketplace, right? There is the customer that orders food, and there's the app that the customer uses to order food or to order their kid from the kindergarten or their keys or whatever. Then there's the courier that also has their own app and that needs to know, okay, I have to go from A to B, I have to deliver this object to that store or from that store to this customer and so on. And I have to be there at this hour, and this is the navigation that I can use and so on. And then there's the partner, which is the store or the restaurant or whatever, like whoever wants to sell something on the platform, on the marketplace. And this partner also has their own app, and they also need to know, okay, I have to prepare this order, I have to pack this bag, I have to whatever, and give it to this courier and so on. But the actual task, so this was just to give you a little bit of context about Global, right? But the task that we gave to our students was to think a little bit about how can we improve on the social impact that the company has. So right now, I mean, social impact has been important for Global for a long time, but we want to focus on that even more now. And these are the current goals that we have at Global. So we want to use our unique resources in logistics to give free or at least more accessible, like at cost logistics to NGOs and social causes, specifically within the area of minimizing hunger in the cities that we operate in, right? That we operate in as Global. The second goal is, so we believe that being a courier or being a Glover, as we call them, is probably not the job of most couriers' lives, right? For some of them, definitely it is, and they're very happy being couriers. But for a lot of them, it's mostly a stepping stone into a hopefully better future and into a more enjoyable job. So we want to help them. We want to help them access better and more enjoyable work possibilities. And the third goal is eco-impact. We want to reduce the environmental footprint that we have as a company and as a marketplace, and that also our couriers have, our partners have, and so on. There are three main pillars within eco-impact. Obviously, packaging. Packaging is about 30% of our negative eco-impact. Then obviously also the fleet itself, the emissions of the fleet, the emissions of the transportation. And the third one is food waste. Food waste from customers who might order too much food, but also from partners who might be purchasing too many ingredients, and in the end, they have to throw a lot of that away. So yes, this is the context that we gave, and now I'm super curious to see what you all came up with. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and leave the stage to you all.
Thank you, Anita. Well, I'm super curious myself as well. And the first presentation will be by Josefina.
Okay, great. I'm gonna, let me check if start broadcasting. Can you hear me okay now?
Yes, we can hear you, and now you are sharing your screen.
Okay. So now are you seeing everything okay?
Yes, perfectly, full screen.
Okay, great. So my name is Josefina Frigoni. I'm actually, I'm gonna start talking about myself, and I can say that this is me. I'm actually, I can say I'm one of the tier one consumers of food delivery person. I don't like to cook, so that's why I feel myself represented by this picture, and I actually tend to buy a lot on food delivery brands. So Glovo, of course, is one of the main brands in which I buy food, and given that Glovo is that one of Glovo's main social impact is to minimize hunger in Spain by contributing with the NGOs and social causes, it got me thinking, how can Glovo, one of the companies in which I buy most, help to minimize hunger in Spain? So I reached out to the three parties involved, people, the NGOs, and the restaurants, and here it's what I discovered. In people, according to people, more than 50% prefer companies that actually help with the society, while 38% would like to help on a good cause. Number one reason is with food, the second reason is with money, and 69% of customers believe that Glovo has bad reputation. In terms of the NGOs, the logistics or delivery services, they say it's not an actual issue from the NGO's perspective because they have that covered. And people also don't like to contribute to social causes because there's lack of information. So there's no actual evidence of what happens when they donate or contribute. So that's one of the main reasons they don't actually tend to contribute. And in terms of restaurants, not all restaurants have leftovers to donate food. So according to all this research, people actually want to help to the NGOs, but people is missing information. So boom, there's an opportunity here. So I was, okay, wait a minute, I'm gonna research a little bit more. And I actually find it out that Global is actually contributing to a lot of people, but people don't know this. They have with Caritas, with food banks and other type of NGOs, but people don't know about it. So half of the solution is already there. So the problem is that users in Spain want to contribute with the society because it makes them feel good, but they don't see Glovo as the main company to do so because their perception of the brand is that Glovo doesn't prioritize social impact. So here we come to the solution to generate an icon on the app that lets users know that in which restaurant they are contributing at the same time. So with this, we come to the solution that it's an NGO tag to highlight the restaurants that collab. So instead of having the promotions tag, you're gonna have the NGOs in which if you click on there, you're gonna have a pop-up with all the detailed information saying to what NGO you're contributing with that specific restaurant. So according to this, we made another survey to really understand if this would work. And 60% said that they would prefer restaurants that contribute over the rest. 35% would choose a brand that helps over the rest. And 25% said that they would actually buy more on those restaurants other than Glovo. So this would actually be a good solution to put the information out there to people know that they are also contributing at the same time. So my conclusion to this solution to the problem is to inform clients about which restaurants they are collaborating with the NGOs. And at the second time, we want more restaurants to contribute too. So this is a win-win for all of us. So with the first one, we expect that 30% of the clients buy more in restaurants with that tag, and we expect to have 10% more restaurants to sign up for the contributing to social causes. So again, this is a win-win for everyone. So going back to myself, here I am, still eating and happy that I'm contributing to the society through Global while I also buy there. So thank you very much. This was my presentation.
Amazing. Thank you, Josefina. I really enjoyed the storytelling. Super dynamic. So do we have any questions, comments, feedback, anything? This will be the time. Patricia, I think that you're trying to speak, but you're muted.
Yes, I have a very simple comment. I think very good data points, and I think you've done like a really simple solution based on exactly what you've learned, and you really validated the solution. And it's a very simple implementation that actually could potentially solve a part of the problem. So I think it was a clever one, very clever one.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
Hey, one question from my side. So I also really like that idea, and it's definitely an idea that we haven't come up with yet at Global. So that's pretty cool. It's a new idea for us. But I was wondering, so I mean, right now I understood that you would be tagging the restaurants in the app, right, that are collaborating with NGOs. I'm just wondering, and maybe this one is difficult for you to answer right now, but what else could we do with this, right? How else could we encourage NGOs to collaborate, and not NGOs, but restaurants to collaborate more with NGOs and to give us that information other than just that tag? I mean, I'm just really thinking out loud right now. I don't know if you have an answer on that, but that is my question that I'm wondering about.
Yeah, so this solution is actually for the customers, not for the restaurants. Of course, it's a way of them to having more sales, but it's actually more focused on the customer. If I would focus this type of solution on the restaurants, what I would do is the same way, but to give the restaurants more information of, I think for the restaurants, they are going to actually, of course, they care about in which restaurant they are contributing, but they are also going to care about the sales. So you can actually provide number sales, right? Like restaurants that actually contribute have 30% more sales than the ones that doesn't have. I know it's a business kind of answer, but actually it's what restaurants are going, what they are going to be interested in. And of course, it's a strategy for them also to sign up for this type of deal with Global.
Makes sense. Great answer. Thanks.
So we have 1 more minute if anyone has any other comments. All right. Well, congratulations, Josefina.
Thank you very much.
Well, Iranis, whenever you're ready, you're the next.
Sure. I'm going to share my screen. You can see my screen now, right?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you all for joining today. In less than 8 minutes from now, you will want to run to your kitchen or to your closet and tidy it up. The problem that you will encounter then is that you won't have a clear idea of what to do with the things you don't need anymore, because what I'm about to present now won't be implemented yet. Today, I'm going to share a way to increase donations to nonprofits using Global, and above all, why this is important. So let me introduce myself. My name is Iranis. I'm a product manager, an entrepreneur, and a business consultant. In the past, I have collaborated with many nonprofits, and I have even mentored some of them. I'm actually a former hospital clown. But the real reason why I'm passionate about finding a new channel to make donations easy is my personal experience. A few years ago, my sister who lived in Venezuela moved to Spain along with her 2 children. It was a hard time for her, but thanks to nonprofits, and especially the help of people in our community, she and my niece and my nephew had the resources to start a new life in Spain. That is why my goal is to bring donors, nonprofits, and families in need closer together by donating or exchanging groceries or clothing. And Global has all the ingredients to make this possible. In Spain, 51% of people who currently receive food grants from the Spanish Red Cross applied for the first time in 2020. And almost 60% cannot afford school lunches, which means they depend on these grants to feed their children. At the same time, 1 billion kilos of food goes straight from the store to the garbage, and 4 out of 10 consumers don't know the difference between the preferred consumption date and the expiration date. Also, 90% of our clothes end up in landfills, even if we reduce them. That means that what you're wearing today will most likely end up under a mountain of garbage somewhere. So after speaking with some nonprofits, I found out that they can give a full cart of groceries only to a small percentage of eligible families, and not every month. They managed to fill more carts with donations from particulars, but that is still not enough. Now, I want to ask you a question. Raise your hand if your pantry or your closet look like this. You're not alone. Our houses are full of stuff we don't use, but keep saving just in case. Let's zoom into a person who's just like us. Maripaz is a woman who lives in Barcelona. She and her spouse have steady jobs, 3 children, and plenty of storage space in their apartment. She goes grocery shopping once a month, but still pops into the store several times a week. And on Sunday nights, she uses Glovo to order dinner. Maripaz also enjoys shopping online and has a soft spot for mid-season sales. I mean, who doesn't, right? Maripaz knows that her pantry and closet are packed, and she'd rather give her stuff a second chance instead of throwing them away. But the problem is that she will have to take these heavy bags to a nonprofit on her own, probably one that she doesn't even believe in, all because she doesn't know another way to donate groceries or clothes. If you are like Maripaz, and as the majority of people, the reason why you don't get rid of things is that you believe you or someone else might need them in the future. But with all the data we just learned earlier, now you know some people could use them now. And I believe that's an idea worth spreading. What we want to achieve is a change in the behavior of people like Maripaz, who are Globo's regular users, but also in other people who have never used Globo or donated before. I also have some other reasons why Globo should care. We have done research and conducted interviews, and it turns out that Globo's reputation is not at its highest peak. Some users have even admitted feeling guilty for using the app, and have never heard about Glovo's philanthropic initiatives. On the other hand, Glovo operates in a saturated market where users have several options for delivery services, and 55% of them have declared they would choose a company that collaborates with nonprofits over others. So far, Glovo's competitors do not offer a feature to make donations. So how may Glovo increase donations to nonprofits? Well, let me introduce you to the donations bubble. With this new feature, users will be able to donate to nonprofits easily. Let's dive in. So the users will find this option on the app's homepage, and when they tap on it, they will reach an onboarding page with a short message about this initiative and the eligible products they can donate. They can either know more about the initiative and limitations, or they can continue. If they choose to continue, they can select whether they want to donate clothes or food, and then they will indicate where the donation fits, basically. So Glovo knows if the order should be assigned to a courier with a car or just a regular courier. Then the user will select a nonprofit that resonates with their values, and the app will automatically indicate the nearest center. That way, delivery fees are the cheapest possible, since these are calculated based on distance. The rest of the checkout is just like a regular order, even with the option to tip the courier. When the user approves the order, the app shows this confirmation page with a message to prepare the packages for transportation. The courier comes, picks up the donation, and drops it at the selected nonprofit. So the goal is to make Glovo a donation channel while maintaining or ideally increasing the number of regular orders. We will know this feature is successful if we get 15,000 donations through the app in the first 3 months. This sounds like a lot, but it only represents 2% of the total orders made on Glovo in the same time frame. Also, we will know we are on the right path if regular orders increase at least 5%, and if 10% of donors make a second donation. Some other interesting statistics to look into are peaks of donation, like after Christmas, or when we change our season wardrobe at the end of summer or the winter. Some other interesting qualitative data to discover is the user's perception of the company after implementing this feature. And also, it would be nice to know if the users will be disappointed if the option disappears. So far, we have seen visible excitement about this idea, but I believe it's worth gauging these feelings in the users. If we prove the success of Glovo as a donation tool, we can include more features in future releases to enhance the user experience, like the option to donate money, to select the preferred consumption date on the app, or to implement food checks. We have learned that we could help hundreds of families in need with things we have collecting dust at home. So next time you clean up your pantry, what will you do? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Iranis. That was an amazing presentation and super complete.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions or comments?
Well, hello. I do have a question. Well, a comment also. So really good presentation. I think really good prototype also. Just a question. Did you had the chance to validate your solution with a couple of Glovo users?
I did. I tried the solution with a couple of people. I gave them context about what they were trying to do. For example, after the end of a season, they have a lot of bags of clothes. So what would they do? First, they would say, I would take them somewhere, but usually it takes a long time or whatever. And then I would offer the option of doing so. And they did, and it worked. I also tried it and had some conversations with developers, just fellow developers, and they said that it wasn't that difficult to implement. It would take, of course, some time to have all the logistics, but we already have some structure that is used for other purposes in the platform, but that can be used or tweaked to serve this need.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Thank you for your question.
Hey, I also have a question. So, I mean, first of all, an amazing presentation, especially the introduction was really cool, really engaging, I think. I was wondering why, or yes, why did you choose the donation of goods that you can order in the app as the first thing that should be first implemented?
Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Yeah, so you showed us the roadmap, right, of all of the different donation types, maybe that we might be able to integrate into the app. Why did you choose the donation of goods that you order in the app as the first one?
Well, the thing is that these are things that you have at your home. It's not something that you will order and then give away. What we discovered during the interviews is that people would rather donate things that they have already at home instead of buying one extra for donations, for example. Actually, when we interviewed the nonprofits, they said that they can fill more carts with donations for particulars, for example, in the supermarkets, by making them buying an extra thing, but they weren't that engaged with that. Usually, what the user gets from this is that they don't feel guilty throwing things away, and they also gain space in their pantry or their closet, and that's the idea. In the interviews, we discovered that they prefer to donate things that they already have.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah, I think I got slightly confused in the presentation there, but that's because I got disconnected for like a second there. Cool, thanks for the clarification.
Thank you. I hope I answered your question.
Yes.
I have one more also.
Sure.
A bit similar to Anita's actually, but by the way, I really love the presentation and I want to use the feature actually. So congratulations for that. Do you think between food and clothes, for example, in terms of complexity, it goes inside the same implementation, or do you think one could or should be prioritized over the other as an MVP, for example, or there is no added complexity in doing both together? What do you think about that?
It can be done in, for example, donating clothes in future releases. I added it first because a lot of people said that what they were having currently to spare, to give away, was clothes. I think it's something seasonal because we just finished summer and people have still a lot of things that they're going to throw away. But probably if we tested this after Christmas, we would prioritize giving away food, for example, bottles of soda or cans or things that after the holidays we have there. So probably that's timing was very important there. In the interviews, we discovered that people really wanted to donate food, but also other people that I asked were when I asked them if they had something right now, they would say they had clothes instead of food to give away.
Okay, thank you. Interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Iranis.
Thank you.
Silent applause. So next is Clara.
Yeah, I'm going. So let me share the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you see this?
Yes, we can see it now.
Okay. So I will start. My name is Clara. Most of you already know me. I am a product manager under construction, and today I am going to talk about the guilt that global consumers, feel and experience where they order food through the app. I am going to also talk why should Globo care about this and how the solution I am about to present may relieve this pain. So, as Anita introduced before, these initiatives is born within Globo Access. Globo Access is the global social platform. It creates social impact projects by using the company's technology and logistics, and the main challenge is solving hunger problem and food waste in the cities it operates partnering with NGOs, groceries, and restaurants. The thing is that during the research, in all the interviews we did, none of our users have heard about this before. So this is a huge highlight insight that needs to be done. Okay, so let's talk about guilt. Who has felt guilt at some point in their life about consuming or buying certain products or services? Please raise your hands. Okay, so this is what happens for a lot of global users, especially younger ones, because they acknowledge the impact that this behavior causes in the environment, on the riders, and on the food waste problem. And the guilt comes from the lack of trust. I will read this quote, but this was an overall thinking for all the research we did. Many companies use strategies to clean their image that don't have a real impact. I need to know that the company has a real commitment and it's more than a facelift. Also, consumers are crazy about transparency, especially when collaborating with NGOs or social causes. Customers need clear information on how this collaboration takes place, especially if there is money involved. A huge impact that we discover is that users need to match their values with the companies they consume products and services from. So, at the question, if you know that Globo collaborates with NGOs to address food waste and hunger problem, would you prefer this service over similar ones? More than half said yes. 33% said maybe. And here is a huge opportunity for Globo to position it among their competitors. The good news is that customers are willing to collaborate. 40% of the users want to make a donation within their orders, and other 40%, it's a maybe. And this maybe depends on the trust, the transparency, and the matching values we have been talking about. So this is Sara. She's our user persona. She's 28 years old. She lives in Madrid. She studied journalism, and she works as a social media manager. She has some goals. She wants to contribute to social causes that really make a difference, needs to find a way to reduce negative impact in society and environment in her daily habits, and need to trust the company she buys services from. She has frustrations. We already talked about this. She feels guilty about her lifestyle and her consumer habits, and she's also suspicious about corporate social responsibility policies. So we have one solution for Sara. Our donating feature on the app will facilitate her give away non-perishable food and decide where it goes, so she can feel part of her local community, helping solve hunger problem in her city. We will basically let the users donate non-perishable food through the app, so the riders pick it up and deliver to the customer's preferred NGO or social project. So here is our MVP. The MVP will be, first of all, an ad on the app to let the users know that we have this new feature. We will have a landing page that will explain exactly how this works. Let me show you. So if you click here in more info, the users will arrive to a landing page where we explain what is Globo Access, how this new feature works in simple steps, and also an important thing, which are the projects and NGOs that are currently working in the city. And here is the main feature. The main feature is in the checkout. So every user who makes an order will see this feature. Basically, it's just below the courier tip, and the user can donate maximum, right now, maximum 3 items. And the important thing is that they can choose where they want to donate this for. So It goes with the current funnel of ordering food. And when you have everything ready, you arrive here, and then you can choose what you want to donate. Select your favorite NGO, apply, and that's it. Confirm your order as always. We will also have a My Donations section in my account, so the user can have a history of their donations. And also they can reorder and donate again. So their preferred donations are already saved when they go to the checkout. This would be pre-selected, so they don't have to do it again. So our goal here is to make the users start donating non-perishable food through the app and start building this habit. We will measure success during the first quarter if we have a key result of a ratio of 1 donation per 200 orders. 1% of the customers from Spain are making donations, and 5% of the customers that already make their first donation make another donation during the first month. So this is an opportunity for Glovo to turn around its corporate image, create stronger and lasting bonds with their customers, and show its real commitment to the communities in which it operates. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Clara, and thank you for the presentation.
Thank you. I was a bit nervous.
I couldn't tell, don't worry. So, do we have any questions for Clara? We have a question on the chat. How are you? I lost it. 1 second.
Yeah.
How are you doing your surveys? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the surveys, the research phase, we did together, the Global Access team. And basically, we did it through the forms, Google Forms. Then, well, apart from the surveys that we did, we also did interviews, qualitative interviews for some users. And then, for example, in my case, just to test the usability and the desirability of the prototype, I conduct some usability testing. No problem.
All right, any other comments?
No, just a comment. It was also a very good presentation and very good prototype.
Thank you.
Which was the most challenging part for you, Clara, throughout the process?
For the process, for me, it was the last one, the last part.
Why?
But it was just because I have been with so much work.
Personal reasons.
Yeah, personal reasons. That it was, the last weeks has been a mess for me. So that was the most difficult one. Yeah.
Well, congratulations on the results you achieved. It was fantastic.
Thank you.
All right, so next is Ioana.
Hello. I will start sharing my screen. Can you hear me well?
We can hear you well, yeah.
Perfect. So I'm sharing my screen now. Can you see it?
Yes, we can see it now.
Okay. Perfect. And I will start. Okay, so hello, my name is Ioana Tome. I'm a product manager and a student of the allWomen Bootcamp. One of Glovo's social impact goals regarding eco impact, is to reduce the environmental footprint of Glovo and its ecosystem, and to avoid contributing to climate change and resource depletion. During today's presentation, I'm going to focus on the innovation in packaging challenge. Food delivery is one of the fastest growing sectors of the global food industry. The pandemic forced people to stay at home and accentuated the demand for online food delivery. How the world eats has changed, and not only because of the effects of the pandemic, but also because people's lifestyle in generally changed. Nowadays, food delivery has become a global market worth more than $150 billion, having more than tripled only in the last 4 years. The number of people using food delivery services across Europe is expected to reach 96.9 million by 2024. This growth is linked with an increased demand for packaging. Today, most of the food is still delivered in artificial and unsustainable types of containers. The majority of it is plastic and is represented by single-use products. 90% of plastic packaging becomes waste after only one use. The productive life of a plastic food container is on average 1 hour and 10 minutes. After this, it becomes trash. If current trends continue, it is estimated that by 2050, the plastic waste in the ocean will outweigh the fish. What do our customers think? In order to understand what end users think about food delivery services and current packaging options, I conducted 7 user interviews to collect insights. This is how I managed to build my user persona. So now please meet Francesca Olivares. She's a millennial. She has a full-time job and she is based in Barcelona. She doesn't have time to cook and she doesn't like it. Her goals are to use an application to quickly order food and at the same time to make environmentally conscious decisions. Her core needs are to order food in an easy and efficient way, but also to have control over her environmental footprint. I also want to highlight what are her main pain points. Francesca feels frustrated because she doesn't have any information regarding the packaging before receiving it. She also feels guilty because she's producing too much trash when ordering food online, and she feels stuck as she doesn't have an option to choose sustainable packaging options. After gathering all this information, I was ready to start brainstorming for different solution ideas. I used the how might we brainstorming technique. Afterwards, I prioritized the ideas, and in the end, I picked up one solution that I started to explore more in depth. After writing the user story mapping and designing the initial wireframes, I interviewed again end users to gather specific insights, and this is how I was able to validate the final solution. So what do our customers need? During the process of validating the solution, I found out that customers are looking for transparency. They need access to honest information. They also need access to alternative solutions, more sustainable ones, and they need a trustworthy partner. Client users need a simple, easy, efficient, yet comfortable and reasonable way to order takeaway food in recipients that are sustainable for the environment. Our target audience, which are the millennials, also confirmed me that they would feel comfortable paying extra for sustainable products. Let's explore more in depth the solution space. So what can we do? We want to give users the option to choose if they want to have their food delivered in eco packaging. Eco packaging will mean 100% sustainable packaging options with recipients made of biodegradable, recycled, recyclable, and or compostable materials. And also we want to allow our users to order food in reusable packaging. Users will have the option to return the containers to the courier when they receive their next order or directly to any of the restaurants from the network. By implementing this solution, users will be empowered to make decisions that will reduce their environmental footprint. How can we measure success? So one of the most relevant statistics regarding the usage that we are going to track will be the number of orders completed with eco packaging or reusable packaging. We also will know our solution to be true if at least 10% of the users that use Glovo every week will use the eco packaging or reusable options at least for one of their weekly orders, and if 20% of the current Glovo users will start to order food 10% more often. In order to implement the solution, I designed a plan that will allow Glovo to start providing value for the customers gradually. So I want to show you what we are planning to implement in the MVP. So in the MVP, we will implement, first of all, a feature to allow users to easily understand which are the restaurants that have eco packaging available. Users will be able to filter the list of restaurants. And if they want to find out more about what eco packaging means, they can click on the Explore button. This modal will show up and they can here understand more information about eco packaging. By clicking on the See Restaurant button, they will be prompted to see the full list with restaurants that have this option available. Also, the eco packaging will be, the eco packaging tag will be displayed and visible in the restaurant page. If the restaurant can provide the food only in eco packaging, as we already have restaurants that do this, then the eco packaging option will be visible for the users, but already pre-selected for them. The users will not be able to edit this option. If the restaurants can provide the food in regular packaging, but also can offer eco packaging for an extra fee, then the users will be able to opt for this option in the checkout section and will have to pay extra for this. If the restaurant will not offer eco packaging, then nothing will change. In order to implement this functionality for the client users, we will also need to implement the ability for our partners, in this case the restaurants, to tag the restaurant with EcoPack and set if this should be included or available only for an extra fee. Why would global partners care? So first of all, because users around the world are demanding for this change. Secondly, this is an opportunity also for them to differentiate from the competition. And also, this way is a way for them to reduce their own environmental footprint. In the next iterations, we will be looking to expand the solution by implementing the following features. We want to offer our users more granular details about the eco packaging available for each restaurant, have different tags for compostable, biodegradable, recycled. We also want to add in-app notifications to let the users know about this new feature, the eco packaging option, and let them know that this is available. And we also want to implement a feature called Ask for It. With this feature, users will be able to let the restaurants know they would be interested in eco packaging or even in reusable packaging for possible next orders. So restaurants that don't have this option yet can understand the interest of the users. Here are some of the features that we will be looking to implement in a third iteration. So we would like to offer the reusable packaging. For this, we could to make a partnership with Boomerang. This is a startup that offers returnable packaging. This partnership will allow users to order food in reusable packaging directly from the Glovo app and have it delivered at their door. We also want to create maybe a new section called Your Positive Impact. This section will be available in the user account area, and this will show the users how many orders with EcoPack he has had, if any, and what is the impact of his decisions on the planet, so the carbon footprint reduction. And as a last feature important for the third iteration would be to access to some tips and tricks about recycling and reusability. To conclude, I want to highlight why should Glovo invest in implementing this solution. So first of all, because this is a way to bring value to the users and address their concerns regarding the environment, to continue to build a clean and respectable brand image, to comply with the EU legislation, to keep up with the competition because everyone is looking for ways to solve this problem, and to comply with the carbon neutrality commitment that Glovo already made in 2019. Thank you for listening.
Thanks to you for the presentation, Joanna. I think that the presentation was very clear about the impact that this feature could have. So now if we have some comments or questions, you can go ahead.
I would like to say something. Hey, Joanna, that was also a really, really good presentation. I especially liked, the data that you shared in the beginning sounded so scary. I mean, I hadn't heard of those data points specifically, but yeah, that's some great imagery to really motivate some change in the area, right? So I don't have a question actually, I just have a comment because I wanted to say that since Monday actually of this week, a very, very similar feature to the one that you have defined is going to be available in the app, or is available in the app in Barcelona. So you can see a label on the restaurant. Yeah, it's pretty cool, no?
For the sustainable packaging.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You can see a label on the restaurant that this restaurant offers sustainable packaging. But yeah, only 50% of you will be able to see it because right now it's an A/B test.
Okay, cool. I'm happy you're already implementing this.
Yeah,
and I hope
it's
the
really cool
reusable,
that,
the reusable one will come too.
yeah. Yeah, well, we are actually talking with Boomerang about that, but that's a little bit more of a long-term project, similar to what you also defined on your roadmap. Reusable packaging is more of a long-term thing, but we are in discussions with actually Boomerang as well. So,
because I think with the reusable packaging, we can go to like actually increase the number of orders on Glovo, because there are a lot of environmental conscious people, at least from my interviews here in Spain, I noticed this, and because they are so concerned and they feel so guilty with this, what is happening right now, they don't order food, or they and if they would have a reusable option, they would actually don't feel guilty, and they will actually, this could increase the number of orders for Glovo. So it could have a big impact on the revenue for the company. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I agree. So yeah, thanks. And it's cool to see that what you came up with is similar to what we came up with also.
Yeah, I'm really happy to hear this.
Tatiana, you wanted to add something? No? All right, so any other comments? Otherwise, I think that we are ready for our next presentation. Congratulations again, Joanna. And next is Paola.
So, hi everybody, I start presenting my screen. Please tell me if you see it. I got
yes,
the
we
screen.
See it.
Perfect. So let's start. So I introduce myself. I'm Paola Tartaglino, and starting tonight, I can officially say I'm a fresh and super passionate product manager. And during the next 8 minutes, you will dive deep with me inside the rider's problem and discover how each of us can contribute to the solution too. I've been asked to find a solution to one of Glovo's social impact goals, which is to ensure that being a Glover is a way to access better and more enjoyable jobs. I identified two personas, Jose and Pedro, are at quite different stages of life, but they have a lot in common, apart from being riders, of course. They are both from Latin America. They arrived in Spain in the last 10 years, and they are not at their first job experience, and they both were unemployed before starting to work as riders. But most important, they both dream a better future in Spain for themselves and their family. But no matter what they are dreaming, if they want to start a new business or looking for a better job, they need, first of all, to better understand if the idea of the future that they have in mind is something feasible. And exploring solutions, I discovered a lot of different opportunities. But as stated by the OCDE, which is the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, the best solution in this kind of problem is an orientation program held by professional counselor. This problem has to be held in person, individual, personalized. It has to be able to canalize their aspiration, and most of all, provide moral support and encouragement. So, as a product manager, I can do my part in providing a tech solution to fundraise this kind of program, enabling the customer to be part of the program too. So, Glovo and customer together will empower the riders to take control of their own future. Always keeping in mind Jose and Pedro's needs, I validate some assumptions through a survey to 60 delivery users. And I discovered that The 81% care about the rider situation, the 76% want to donate to a good cause, and the 95% are okay with spending a little more on their orders. Now I have a new persona in my mind. Meet Maria. She is a Glovo customer. She uses the app quite often, but still she feels a kind of guilty when she thinks about the riders. That's why she always gives the tip directly in their hands. She would like to help them, but actually she doesn't know how. Also, she is not a Glovo enthusiast. She has not a super good opinion about the company. Still, she uses the app very often. So in short, as a Glovo customer, Maria wants to donate for the Riders Orientation Program so that she can contribute to make their future better. And the solution is a new feature which enables Maria to donate every time she places an order on the app. The survey revealed also that 80% of users interested in donating are interested in winning something small in exchange and take a small game. So to ensure that Maria and the other users will most likely donate and keep donating after the first time, for each donation, they win a promo code to be used on their next order. This will ensure a higher retention and also engage customers not interested in the rider's good cause. The donate and spin feature is a usable solution, and 75% of users like it for some specific reasons. It's because it is active, it is fun, and gives visibility of the prices. But what's the best spot in the app for this kind of feature? I analyzed the user journey, and I imagine Maria opened the app, she chooses a pizza for dinner, she gives the tip and pays. The order confirmed screen appears, and she starts checking the status of her orders and waiting. Maria, in this time frame, could be somehow annoyed or become nervous because the order is late. So adding the feature here is a good solution, as a new CTA, which is donate, does not interfere with the main business goal, which is make an order, because actually she already did it. Moreover, the donate and spin feature will somehow distract her and give her a good reason to be happy, also in this frame of the user journey, and not to make the wait shorter before her pizza finally arrives. So let's see how the feature works. Right after the payments, the order confirmed screen appears, and also the donate and spin feature on this screen. Clicking on the button, a pop-up appears from the bottom to inform the user about the initiative. And when the user decides to donate, clicking again, the wheel starts spinning, and after 2 seconds, a promo code appears on a new screen. Afterwards, the user will find the promo code also in his personal area. So this MVP is then valuable, usable, and feasible. And when released, the first version will be validated with real users. In the second release, we can imagine a specific improvement to test the visibility, to give more choice to user and more information. And after 6 months, we will check the OKRs and all the new data available to understand what to do later for real. And about the OKRs, it's important to associate in this objective and key results, the results of the fundraising through the app and the results of the orientation program for riders. So the solution will be considered successful if at least 10% of customers made at least one donation, if 5% donate twice or more, if 70% of the riders involved in the program think the program is useful. These numbers are the last year data from Glovo España, and they demonstrate that 10% could be enough to raise the money to start the program, at least in one city. But what about the program itself? What will come next? Maybe it's not my responsibility as a product manager, but this project work made me think a lot about the possibility that a growing company as Glovo could have in contributing to build a better society. I strongly believe the orientation program could be the very first step of a real social commitment of the company towards the riders. In the midterm, the program could be extended to many people and then complemented by grants, prizes to economically help the riders to make their dream come true. Who knows, in 10 years, we could have an entire foundation to support social causes in the cities where the company operates. But back to the present, let's understand better which are the takeaways. The fundraising will let Maria feel happy to contribute and proud of buying from a company committed in a social way. On the other hand, the orientation program will empower Pedro and Jose. They will feel more self-confident, they will get a positive attitude and the necessary mind space to think about their future. Last but not least, of course, the solution will improve Glovo's reputation and by extension, also retention and acquisition. For all these reasons, it's time for Glovo to really commit and take a stand in support of the riders. Thank you. Now, if you have any questions, please go ahead.
Thank you, Paola. It was super interesting. Do we have any comments for Paola?
I have one question. Thank you very much, Paola, for the presentation. I generally like questioning the MVP, so sorry about that. But as for your MVP, for example, do you think, again, it would be even more feasible to offer only one of the prizes, like free delivery? Or do you think that adding all different options doesn't bring any complexity? Do you think for a reason that all of it should be part of your MVP? Or do you think there would be more?
Now on the prototype, I designed many options. Actually, it's something that should be verified with the marketing department, because I assume that they will decide which kind of promo code can be used in this kind of operation. And then maybe checking with the developers also, we can decide that at least, I don't know, 3 options could be enough for the start, so that they can implement a fixed number of different promo codes and not an infinite number. So this could be easier in the first stage, also because the wheel is spinning. So like 3 or at least 4 options would be more than enough, also in a graphic way, I think.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question.
I will go first.
You go.
Okay, I go first. So really interesting presentation, Paola. And especially, so for me, it's especially interesting because that's a new idea for me, right? Nobody at Glovo has come up with an idea similar to this yet. So that's interesting for me to hear. But I was wondering, so the company would have to invest money into like the vouchers that you can win on the spinning wheel, right? Vouchers for like free transportation or free delivery, or also, I don't know what other ideas you had, but why do you think the money is better invested in gamifying customer donations rather than maybe donating or giving that money directly into resources that will help couriers?
Well, I think that this could be better because of the engagement of the customer, so that this kind of solution help Glovo also in the reputation part, and being like Glovo and customer together do something for the riders, and in the future it's something like all the society together can do something. Also, a solution that is just asking Glovo to take money and give to the program, so should be something like giving money to the riders directly, more or less. And about the promo codes, I can imagine, obviously it's something that should be discussed with other departments, but I can easily imagine that there are some kind of promo code. As a user, I see it. For example, for the Glovo Prime users, they received promo codes for, I don't know, 1 free pizza on a specific restaurant or something like that. I assume these kind of promo codes are activated with restaurants or something like that. So it could be also an opportunity to engage the restaurant in giving some kind of promo code and being part of the system too. I didn't imagine it at the moment actually, but it just came to my mind.
Nice, thank you.
Hello, Paula. Well, thank you for the presentation and also for showing us this side of things, that problems that we need to solve. I have a comment around, because I remember you talking with me about this and with very interesting points. And I also wonder if it's really needed, the the gamification, because I remember you telling me an interesting thing, which is, have you thought about the fact that maybe it's more about sharing the stories of the writers and the impact of your donation in their lives? Maybe that would be also an interesting thing to explore, because I remember that you mentioned that to me.
Yeah, I definitely think that in the profile area, for example, that should be some specific page to give the user the understanding of what Glovo is doing with this money in the program. So and maybe in the future sharing specific stories of specific results. But we need I think at least 6 months or 12 months to give the riders taking part to the program to start finding new opportunity, and then starting actually to have this opportunity, and so that they can tell about that. And what about the gamification? I also spoke a lot about that with users, and I understood that a soft way of putting like a game was okay. They didn't like the idea of a lottery or something that reminds them about gambling or something like that. But winning something in exchange of the donating will push them somehow to donate more and more. Also, it's important to try to engage also those customers that actually don't care about the riders. There's also a percentage of people that actually don't care, so they don't want to donate money for anything, but maybe they would donate €1 or whatever in order to get a promo code to use on the next order. So is something, to try to engage as more people as possible.
Okay, that's a very good.
Thank you.
Claudia, you can go ahead. Claudia? Well, maybe it was a mistake. So thank you and congratulations, Paula. And yes, you are now fresh. How did you say? Fresh and passionate.
but very passionate. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So next is Rocio.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Okay, you can see my screen, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Rocio Pacerotti. As from today, I am becoming an official product manager, and I am also pitching you my solution for this challenge, which is ensuring that being a rider is a way to access a better and a more enjoyable job. But at this point, we have to ask ourselves, what is a better job? Is it about making more money or about working less hours? Or maybe it is about using the brains. So there are a lot of options, and it depends on who you ask. So now it is the time to ask the Glovers, the riders, what is a better job for them. Now, what this research tells us is that riders are well-educated people, as most of them do have either a high school or a university diploma, that most of them come from abroad, and that also almost all of them have some kind of previous experience before working at Glovo. But this does not tell us anything about what their hopes or their dreams actually are. And for this, we have field research. So let's meet Carlos. Carlos is our user persona. He's a typical global rider. He came from Venezuela 2 years ago, and he left in Venezuela his son, who he really misses. He also misses his previous occupation, as he used to be an electrician back in Venezuela. Therefore, one of his goals in Spain is to set up his own electricity service and repair business, but he has the problem that he doesn't have enough time to start building his own client network, and that he's not very sure on how to do some paper procedures. But the most important thing about Carlos is that he is very sure that Globo is a temporary job. What he really wants is to make the most out of his previous skills, which are being an electrician, but he doesn't have the time to work on it. Therefore, we started thinking, how is it that we can take advantage of Carlos' little time? How can we make him see all available opportunities at the same time, all of them at a glance? And how can we do all of this in a very simple and easy way? And the hypothesis that we found, that to which we arrived, is that Globo can be the platform in which we match Carlos' skills with clients' needs to do some tasks. So it works the following way. Clients upload needs for tasks to be done. Riders upload their skills, they make them public, and if there is a match between these needs and the skills, then they can arrange for riders to do the task and to be paid outside of Globo platform. And with this, the riders will gain a great momentum in their career-changing path, since they will start building their own network of clients. This will allow them to transition to a different job after some months. We will know that this hypothesis is true if most riders that actually have some skill that can be taken advantage of actually do one of these gigs 3 months after launching the app. And if out of these riders that did at least one gig, some of them, let's say 30%, actually start transitioning to a different job that is related to these skills. So now let's see how the solution works. We have 2 sides to this solution, as you can imagine, since we have the rider side and we have the client side. Now, on the rider side, we have the regular app. So they access and they have the same menu they always have, but they have this trampoline section here. So when they click on it, they can access 3 new areas for the moment, at least. The first one is their profile, in which they have a section to explain who they are and what is it that they want and what are their needs currently. They can add their skills, and they can also add some studies that they have. These skills and these studies are added in a very simple way by filling out 4 fields. Then the second section is the opportunity map. They have a map, as I said before, in which they can filter by tags, tasks that clients need to be done. And if they find a task in which they think they can help, then they can offer their help and arrange with the client to work for them. Then the final section is the reputation section. Here they have all comments and all evaluations by clients for which they worked, which are open to the rider himself and also to the entire community. Now, on the client side, what we have is this new bubble in the regular application, which is called Help for Task. Here, when the client clicks, they have a 2-folded menu in which they can add a new task by explaining exactly what it is that they need and by adding tags so that riders can find them easily. Then they can also access messages from riders that are offering help in order to carry out those tasks. And if they are okay, of course, that they can accept their help and arrange a payment and the amount of money. Now, this that I have just showed you is the MVP. It is a simple application, a simple new area in the existing application in which the clients make public what their needs are, and Glovo and riders offer their help according to the skills they have. For the next release, I plan to allow Glovo clients to source for riders themselves, and also to include some guidelines on how to do some paper procedures, like simple guidelines, short and sweet. And in the third release, I plan to extend this feature to partner restaurants, and also to include a job board that will be maintained by couriers and by clients, by all of them. One final reflection that I would like to do now is that now is the time to actually address this challenge, mainly because the entire community is very well aware of riders' issues, and if we do not do something to address this situation, then we will end up in a huge reputational crisis. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rocio. From what I understand, these little jobs are something that the riders will be doing outside the hours that they are working as riders for Glovo, right?
Exactly. I mean, at least in the MVP, I think that this will be done outside of the working hours for Glovo, but in the second release, I plan to include all of these tasks in the calendar that they have in order to set up their available schedules.
Okay, do we have any comments?
I have a question. Hey, Rocio. Really great presentation, and I think, for me, this idea is especially interesting, or all of the ideas are interesting, but this one is also really interesting in terms of business impact, right? Because the Glovo is really trying to get into several, all of the different categories of e-commerce, and this would be a new category that we haven't thought of yet, and if this also brings social impact, then that sounds like a really good idea. I do wonder though, because I'm looking at it now from a business perspective rather than a social impact perspective, right? It would be we would kind of become competitors to TaskRabbit, I think is the name. What do you think would differentiate us from them?
To be honest, one of the validation phrases which I did, but I didn't show on the presentation because of a matter of time. One of the things that actually I got from both sides, from clients and from riders themselves, is that they prefer Glovo to stay out of the payment. They understand this as a social thing and that it's part of Glovo's social impact challenges, but they prefer Glovo to stay out of the payment, Glovo not to make profit out of this. So if you think that it would imply or it would be a new business line, then maybe there should be, or we should try and find a different solution for this, because then it wouldn't match their interests and their willingness to actually engage with the app.
Yeah, I understand. Well, that's definitely important to think of as well. Thank you.
Any other comments for Rocio? Okay, congratulations, Rocio.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. So next, Tatiana.
Hello, everyone. 1 second. Do you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
All right, great. So choosing a career path could be overwhelming for anyone. More options there are, more confused one becomes when faced with the choice. The wizarding world has a solution. They have divided people in 4 houses with predefined skill set and potential career paths, and crafting a sorting hat telling you where you belong. Simple, right? But unfortunately, in the Muggle world, they don't allow sorting hats, and we are left to ourselves to figure this out. We don't have magic, but we have internet, and we have software engineers, and we have Google Maps and robots. And if we need things fast, well, we have Glovo, right? But as we do not have a sorting hat, the question is, how can we help the Glovers to find their career path? Exactly. We have to craft our own solution using our Muggle magic, the internet. Hello, everyone. My name is Tatiana, and I'm passionate about career development. And I believe that everyone has growth potential that can be unlocked when given the right tools. And I believe that Glovo can provide that key. But in order to craft that key, we need to first know the locker. So today in this presentation, you will see how Glovo could better understand where the Glover's career interests lie to choose wisely on what initiatives to work to be relevant and to provide the most value to the riders through the Trampoline for Glovers program. So in order to be successful in this quest, we have conducted desk research and field interviews, and as a result, please let me introduce you to Carlos and his problem. So Carlos immigrated from Latin America for a better life. He has a degree that he has obtained in his country of origin, and his goal today is to become a qualified professional. But he needs to get a recognized diploma for the Spanish authorities, and for that, he needs to homologate the degree that he has. But this is a traditional path, which means a very long bureaucratic process. And Carlos feels stuck because he doesn't know how else he could learn, and also frustrated because he doesn't see how his time at Glovo can help him in this sense. So the problem is that Carlos doesn't know how, nor what alternative paths he has to achieve his goals. But while we were speaking with Carlos, I couldn't help but notice the group of Glovers that were waiting outside. So I got curious, and I found out that being a rider is not always being on the move. And actually, I found out that on average, 55 to 65% of the ship time is spent on waiting. And Glovers confessed that they wait quite a lot of time, either for a next order or for the food to get ready. So it looks like the circumstances of the job offers time that can be utilized in various ways. However, Carlos does not take advantage of it for his personal development, but he says that there is nothing for him to do in this job. So I couldn't shake this image from my head because I was suspecting that there might be a dissonance. So before going up with the idea, I was thinking that we need to validate first if there is an interest in upskilling, and we need to know the areas of the interest of our Glovers to find tailored programs for a higher impact. And here is how. So while Carlos is going to wait for the next order or for the food to be ready, we want him to get a pop-up from the app, and we will provide him with information about the Trampoline for Glovers. And we will tell, hey, Carlos, do you have a minute? Use this time to find what are the most in-demand careers there. So Carlos will jump to find out what does it mean. And he will find out some short information about the program and how the program will help him finding upskilling programs to access the most in-demand careers. Here, Carlos will be able to choose the area of his interest. It can be business services, IT, mechanical and skilled trades, but let's say Carlos is interested in IT. Next, he will be able to tell us a little bit more about him, and he will tell us if he's somehow familiar or beginner. So Carlos is a beginner. He would be available to learn on a part-time basis. Here he will have a list of domains that he would be interested to explore. So let's say he's interested in mobile app development, how he wants to learn, and how much he wants to spend on a training. He will apply this criteria, and our Glovo bees will process his application and will come back to him with a list of programs that could be, or trainings that could be of interest to him. But in the meantime, we will offer him as well a list of e-learning platforms where he will be able to go and explore different training, certification, and upskilling programs. so he could explore during the time that he is waiting for the next order. But what I would like you to see is that with this, actually, we will be able to measure the interest. So we will know that there is an interest in this type of programs if at least 80% of riders will click on jump. If they will not click in 1 week, then we'll do some A/B testing to see if it's a matter of the messaging or the time of the day they get this application, or maybe the button is just wrong. Then on the next page, we will actually measure the areas of interest. In my MVP, I have 3 categories, but we want to know those who would be really not interested, so we will get off, they will not receive this invitation anymore, or who would like to come back later. In the release 2, we'll add an option where they would actually be able to add an area manually, and obviously in the release 3, we'll add more categories there. And also here, we will find out a little bit more about Glovers. I mean, who they are, what areas, and we will be able to actually segment a little bit better the riders and what type of background do they have and how much they want to spend. And definitely in the release 2, we will actually have more filters to have a more targeted approach. But this is the part that is really the most interesting for me, because here we will be able to see if there is actually a bias for action, and if the Glovers would actually have the interest of going themselves and looking for programs and for trainings, and what would be that action that they will be doing. So this will be a very important part for us to really measure the existence or non-existence of this dissonance between behavior and action. And in the release 2, obviously we want them to have the results of the programs directly on the page. And we will know that the upskilling program is worth investing in if out of 90% of users who access the platform, at least 60% will show interest in one category, and out of 60%, at least 30% enrolls in a training. And by providing targeted programs to Glovers that want to pursue a different profession, will make it easier for the riders to find alternative paths towards the desired professional goal. And we will know this to be true if in 1 year, out of 30% of enrolled users, 10% will find a new job. Why this matter? Because like this, Glovo will become a real opportunities enabler and thus become the delivery platform of choice for both riders and users.
Thank you, Tatiana. Tatiana, you had a background in HR, right?
Yes.
It's a perfect match, this challenge for you.
I don't know, Daniela, because it was very hard.
Really?
I had so many ideas. I was like, where do I start from? I mean, that's why maybe I went more about, because I thought the problem is actually so much, it's very complex that we actually need to first to build something to validate in general, you know, is it worth investing in, and where is it worth investing in? Because just I was thinking about surveys, and to be honest, I also have limitations with Spanish, so I wasn't really able to go and ask, you know, the Glovers, hey, what do you want to learn? But definitely the community is so big, so we need to find a way. So I was thinking that for this, we'll be able to validate, you know, the assumptions that we have about Glover's careers aspirations.
Well, I think that you did very well in mixing your previous experience and what you're passionate about with this new knowledge. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Do we have any questions or comments?
I have a question. Hey, Tatiana. Great presentation as well, and a really, really cool idea. I especially liked that you want to do a smoke test in the beginning to measure if people or if the couriers are interested in what they're interested in before properly implementing the solution. So that's a really good idea as well. You mentioned a lot that it would be great to use couriers waiting time, right, to upskill or to do this kind of e-learning that you might be offering on the platform. Now let's say, because that's the situation right now, Glovo wants to reduce the waiting time for couriers, right? Because it's not a good, I mean, it's not very efficient if couriers have to wait for anybody. Glovo still has to pay them even for the waiting time, even though it's not as much money as if they would be delivering, right? So it's bad for both Glovo and for couriers and for partners, because couriers are standing in front of restaurants and so on. So that's why Glovo wants to reduce the waiting time as much as possible. Do you think that this idea would still be worth it if we didn't have so much waiting time anymore?
Anita, I'm very glad you actually asked this, because I actually have a slide that I didn't know where to put, so I will actually be showing you something. Well, about this, so I was thinking to use the waiting time, not, for them to use this for a study, but more to take them to have the awareness about the Trampoline for Glovers program. And that's why we also in the second part here, when we have I'll come back later. So if, for example, they don't have the time because they're waiting, but they are interested in what the Glover has to offer, if they say, okay, I'll come back later, we can provide this type of notification outside, actually, outside the Glovo time, the shift time, because the app is still there. We have the information about whether they are doing the shifts or not, and plus the notification itself, it's something that we want to use during this time, but the program would still exist on the delivery glovoapp.com platform that already exists for Glovers. So this will be actually in awareness kind of campaign as well about this be existing already in Glovo, and using the time that, let's say they have 5 minutes or 10 minutes about, this is what they can do with their time at Glovo. This is what they can do at Glovo. Because this is also another aspect that I was thinking to address or not, because while we were discussing with the Glovers, they didn't know about so many things that Glovo is doing that even I, as a foreigner, I knew. So because, about the discounts that they have with the Glover, about the already existing initiatives. So to me, this is really important to actually have this sort of campaign and to use this time to make them aware about what Glover can offer. So when they will be outside the working hours, they can go and explore more, because it will be there. And definitely in the next, in the MVPs, I'm not very talented with UX design, but I was thinking about having actually this, also implemented on their, profile, and definitely they can access this anytime they want to go explore more and do more.
Very interesting. Thanks.
Is there any other question for Tatiana? Well, Tatiana, congratulations, you made it.
Thank you. Yay, we did it. Thank you very much.
So next is Natalie. I think you have to stop sharing your screen. Yeah. And now, Natalie, when you're ready.
Hello, everyone. I will share my screen.
Hello.
Okay. Do you see my screen?
Yes, correct. We can see it.
Perfect. So hello, everyone. My name is Natalie Khaimovich, and I'm here to present you one of the most important topics to all of us, which I personally care about a lot, and it's the environmental impact and how Glovo can tackle part of the challenges by using a simple solution. What a beautiful world we have, right? Not exactly. Human activities, from pollution to overpopulation, are driving the world temperature up and fundamentally changing the world around us. Climate change has consequences for our ocean, our weather, food resources, and our health. One of the most persistent pollutants on Earth is plastic. It's made to last often for 400 years or more. It creates greenhouse gas emissions that are contributing to the warming of our world. If you knew there is a way to stop the global warming, who would choose to do so? I think all of us. Well, Glovo decided to take part in the solution by tackling part of the challenges. First, reduction of the total distance traveled by couriers by increasing the efficiency of delivery through the bundling of orders, which solving the pollution challenge. Second, Glovo Store. Glovo Store is a platform where Glovo partners can get discounts for buying packaging made from recycled or recyclable materials. Also, for each order, customers can now ask whether they need single-use cutlery for their meal, encouraging them to avoid generating waste and CO2, and tackling food waste by collaborating with NGOs to collect food leftovers from their partners' restaurants and distributing them to food kitchens. So after seeing those amazing solutions, I started interviewing end users to see if and what are the gaps they see on the Glovo app regarding sustainability. The main gap I found was lack of information the users have. Either general information about how to recycle, where to recycle, and if we will go deeper into the Glovo app, is a total lack of information of which restaurants are eco-friendly, which places use reusable packages. There are no filters or additional data for users who want to be involved in the recycling process. Now let's meet Sophia. Sophia is 30 years old, works as marketing manager, and this is a user journey from Sophia daily life. She gets back really late from work, feeling tired, very hungry. She decides to order through Glovo app, but feeling guilty after watching a documentary on Netflix, knowing how much plastic packages harm the world situation. But she's super hungry and trying to look for eco-friendly restaurants who use sustainable packages. Unfortunately, she can't find any information on the app. Feeling frustrated, she decides to order from a familiar place. So here is the actual problem the user is facing. I'm trying to take care of the environment by using sustainable material as much as I can. But when I order food, I'm not aware of the environmental impact the order has, which makes me feel frustrated, guilty, and discouraged. Now let's talk about the fun part. What's the solution? So focusing on the most valuable solution, which will make the biggest effect with minimum effort, this is the solution: to tag and sort restaurants which are using sustainable packaging, including partners who order consistently from the Glovo store. This solution is a win-win situation. First, for the user, by solving a problem of missing information about eco-friendly places on Glovo app. This is a great incentive for Glovo partners to be a part of Eco Solution and be an advantage in front of the competitors. And finally, it's an opportunity for Glovo to attract new users who care about the environment by social or email campaign, and it will be great for their reputation as well. How we will know this to be true? First, 15% of our registered users will click on the new icon to sort restaurants before making an order. Then 12% of the users picking the new tag will finally make the order from a sorted restaurant. And we expect 12% of sales increase within eco-friendly restaurants, which will allow Glovo to use the data to convince new eco-friendly partners to join the application services and eventually will contribute to the product growth. Now let's take a look on the visual prototype. First, I want to introduce the new app to the new feature. So we will present a pop-up message on the main screen. This message will appear on the first month after implementation and only for one time for the first entry of end users, because we don't want to add too much information for them and to confuse them. Then the user will find the tag on the sort by screen and on the restaurant page itself. To maximize the usage of the new feature, I suggest announcing to different platforms, such as making a social media campaign, email, and blog post on Glovo website. And after the MVP will be successfully running, release 2, on release 2, at the end of each order made through the new feature, there will be a notification with interesting fact about eco impact. And for release 3, users who use the feature will gain points to use it later for discounts. So both releases will encourage the users to use sustainable packaging and create an added value with valuable information. Going back to the beginning of the presentation, I want to remind you, while human causing the global warming, humans are also the ones who can combat it. And today it's the ideal day to start the change. So thank you. Any questions?
Thank you, Natalie.
Thank you.
So questions or comments?
So I have the same comment here, of course, as for Joanna. I mean, thank you for the presentation. It was really great, and it's well, I think it's a really good idea. And yes, you should be seeing parts of your solution in the app now. But yeah, it's interesting for me because you gave us more of a roadmap what might come in the future, also for our functionality. So thank you for some inspiration there.
Thank you.
Any other questions? So Natalie, now that you finished, if you had to do it all over again, is there anything that you will do differently?
Actually, it was really a bumpy ride for me because during the entire course, we learned so many models and we learned so many ways to discover the solution. While at the end, when the solution is really simple and has a great value, so I was struggling with the thought that the solution is too simple. But eventually, when it's simple to implement and it has a great value, so I think it's better. So I would change my concerns during the process, but that's it.
Amazing. Any other comments for Natalie? Well, thank you so much for your presentation and congratulations.
Thank you.
And now we have the last presentation for today. And then tomorrow we have another 7 presentations. But for today, the last one is by Eugenia.
Hi.
Hi, Eugenia.
I did it.
Yeah.
Let me know if you can see.
Yes, we can see it now.
Spoiler. Well.
All right, the floor is yours.
Great. Well, hi everyone. My name is Eugenia. Through this presentation, I'm gonna talk about how discrimination and mistreatment is stopping global couriers from jumping to a better job, and how Globo can become a trampoline providing a solution. I started my research by conducting interviews with riders in different global markets here in Barcelona to know where they're from, what are the motivations, why they choose Globo. And I was able to understand who the couriers are. So let me introduce you, Jose. He's a 33 years old courier from Venezuela. His children and relatives are still living abroad, and Jose has been working for Globo for almost a year. He's a mechanical engineer, but he can work on that due to his country is not validating his degree. He chooses Globo because it's flexible and he can combine it with other jobs or personal projects, and also because it's an easy way to start making money. His main goal is to be able to generate more income and help his family back home. And he planned to move to a more qualified job, but he and his peers face some difficulties doing it. Talking with the couriers, I start to pull from a thread, and beyond the paperwork and bureaucratic reasons, the main difficulties were social. The first finding is that 62% of them had suffered some kind of racial discrimination. To understand this number, it's key to know that couriers in Spain are 64% from Latin America, and the rest are immigrants from Arabic, Middle East, and last Spaniards. The second finding is that 75% of them say they had suffered or know someone who had suffered some kind of mistreatment, like verbal and physical aggression by customers. And it's very important to mention that some women, which comprise 13% of the fleet, expressed having suffered sexual harassment from customers as well. And the third finding is that more than half of the riders had felt marginalized by society or some public authorities. During my research, I found an article from United Nations that explains that discrimination affects people's well-being and opportunities. So with all the information gathered, we can think that even though the couriers want to shop to a better shop, to earn more money and send it to his family abroad, they don't have the self-confidence to do it because they suffer mistreatment and discrimination from customers and society. And that affects their opportunities and well-being. So now the question became, how can Glovo help the couriers by decreasing the discrimination towards them? To solve that delicate question, I ran an interview with Marilena Sinaldi, a psychologist from Doctors Without Borders, and she gave me 4 meaningful insights. First, break the indifference with the discrimination topic. We need to put the problem on the table. By ignoring it, we are not solving it. Second, giving a voice to the couriers to make them feel heard by Glovo. Third, give them tools to help them feel stronger because now they're in a vulnerable situation. Four, it's important that Glovo communicates that it expects these riders to be well treated by and respected by the society. With all this information, I arrive at my hypothesis that I believe that educating customers will help reduce the indifference and discrimination toward couriers. Ideally, I want to reduce the cases by a 10% in the first year. And also we can expect that if the courier is happier, then their NPS with Glovo will increase by at least 10%. Now that we have the hypothesis, we can move forward and how to solve it. In order to understand the impact educating the customer, we first need to know and be able to measure the experience of the courier delivering the order. Glovo is currently blind to the problem. So the MVP will provide us with the data that we need to start measuring and set the baseline. For the MVP, in the Rider app, I want to implement a short survey that appears after the delivery and ask the courier in terms of unpleasant, neutral, and very pleasant, how was the experience with the customer. From it, Glovo can understand how many deliveries are classified as unpleasant, and that will be the North Star metric and the KPI that we want to constantly improve. To validate this, I made a survey between couriers where 83% of them say that they will feel empowered and more value from Glovo by scoring the customer. To tackle the vulnerability situation, we want to know what happened if the delivery was classified as unpleasant. So we add a field asking what is the reason for this score. This field only appears when the score is unpleasant, because we are relating an unpleasant experience with mistreatment. Now, onto the customer app. where we can focus on educating the customers. To do so, we will first humanize the courier in all the customer notification by always mentioning them by name. Second, we will publish an educational message in the already established notification flow. And to validate this, I made another survey with customers that contain different messages, in which I asked them which notifications made them feel more prone to take action. 63% of them choose this option. A reminder to tell your courier, thank you for the delivery, with an accompanying sentence that calls to reflection. When this release is implemented, we can contrast the number of cases and to see if mistreatment decrease. Testing different message. Also, we can do some A/B testing and test online different message and see the impact they may have of the number of cases. For the second release, we want to help those who ask for help. Using the data that they complete in the MVP in the field, for those couriers that had extremely bad experience, we will send them an email offering them an optional appointment for counseling with a mental health professional. This will be a short phone call of 15 minutes to give them some tools to go through the problem, or in case there is something really complex, help them to make a police complaint. To validate this release, in the survey with the couriers, we asked them if they think that a tool for mental care was useful for them and their peers, and 63% say that will be useful. In conclusion, who doesn't want to live in a better society? By implementing this solution, we are first helping one of the pillars of the business to be better with themselves, work better in the company, and expand their opportunities. Second, we are educating the customer, which, if we are successful, will make a positive impact in the society that we are living in. And lastly, this solution helps Glovo to clean its branding by demonstrating its investment in building a better society. Thank you.
Thank you, Eugenia. Wow, this was super powerful for me. I don't know, I think that it was super simple, like the idea of giving the voice to the carriers just with a little survey, and it's like a plot twist.
Yeah. Yes, for me was something that also have a lot of impact when I run the interviews and they start to tell me and all the stories they have, and it was, oh my God, this is big. Yeah. I want to work in this.
Super. Any comments for Eugenia? Gazal says that she wants to cry.
Well, thank you, Eugenia, for bringing this. I think it's really good that we are all aware of the situation and find solutions to help and to diminish this kind of situations. I think it's a real problem and not an easy one to solve, but I think it's a very good idea that since we can also obviously comment and evaluate riders, that they also have a channel where they can actually give feedback when they are mistreated.
Thank you.
I really like the idea as well, and I was just discussing. I muted myself and was discussing also, like in similar. It's not a question, but it's just a comment also. In, let's say, Wallapop or Airbnb, when it's more like peer-to-peer businesses, you have the option to leave comments whether you are providing service or getting the service. And I think it's a very good idea to start moving this in Glovo type business models where there's maybe just a customer and someone who's giving the service. for everybody to start learning to be a good customer also, maybe, no? So yeah, it's a good reflection. I really like the idea. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, for me it was something like when I go to an Airbnb, the hosted the people that rent me, they can score me. Why I can score, or what the courier can score me as a customer, and that was for me the break point, and think this is a possibility, and also it works.
Any other comments for Eugenia? Well, thank you, Eugenia, for your presentation, and congratulations. And well, yep, we have come to an end of this first session. Remember that we will continue tomorrow, but congratulations to all of you here. You should be like super, super, super proud of yourselves. I know that most of you have a full-time job or multiple freelance jobs, and you achieved to complete this 10-week, that is quite a lot, bootcamp. So now I think it's time for a celebration and to be super proud of yourselves. So applause for you. And thank you also to the instructors for your support and for being here today. And if you want to add anything, any of you, you can do it. You can go ahead.
I think great job, all of you. I have to say, really good to see all of your projects. And with I think all of you articulated very well problems, metrics, and good storytelling also.
Thank you for the guidance and for the help through this beautiful process.
Yeah, congratulations, everyone. And this was, it was really interesting or really amazing for me to see how far you've all come and like where you've started versus where you are now. And I hope that, like, I just wish you all the best for the future. And I hope that you'll find the job in product management, if you're looking for it, as soon as possible.
Thank you very much for everything.
Yeah, thank you. Amazing pictures.
And I really want to celebrate, the womanhood because it was really amazing. The group was amazing. Everybody, the colleagues, I think everyone was very involved, very engaged. I really enjoyed myself a lot during this, 100 hours. We spent 100 hours together. That's a lot. So it really was. It was a great journey. Thank you all.
All right, ladies, congratulations. So for those of you that can connect tomorrow, I will see you tomorrow. And remember that you can always come by. We are hosting a lunch soon. So looking forward to seeing you and to celebrate together. Now you're graduates.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice
Thank
evening.
you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Okay, ladies, we are ready to start. So we are here today for the second session of the demo day. This is the edition from September to November of product management. So all of you here achieved 10 weeks and a total of 100 hours learning product management. And we are here to see the results of your hard work. So we will have 6 presentations today. So we're going to start with the global challenge that Anita introduced yesterday during the first session. And then Margarita and Melissa will make a presentation on a challenge by Zurich. That's the company where they work. Remember that you have 8 minutes for the presentation, and then we will give you a couple extra minutes for comments, Q&A, or any feedback that anybody in the audience wants to give you. So we will start today with Andrea. So Andrea, whenever you're ready, you can share your screen.
Okay. Okay, now can you see my screen? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so do I start?
Yes, when you want
Yeah.
to.
Okay, so hello, my name is Andrea Domingo. I work as a business intelligence specialist, and I'm currently a student of the allWomen Product Management course. I will now present the project that I have been working on during the course. From the 3 different challenges that we could choose, I decided to work on the food access one, because I think that Glovo is in a very good position to make a difference in this area. And in my case, I decided to focus on homeless people being the final beneficiary of the product. After some interviews with people who were living in the street, I could build a user persona who I call Jose. And Jose is 43 years old and lives in Barcelona. For more than 1 year, he has been living in the street and he feels like he's not part of society anymore. Every sometime, volunteers go to the place where he usually sleeps and bring him food. He really appreciates that, and not only for the food itself, but because it makes him feel less lonely and like someone is taking care of him. He tries to avoid going to social lunchrooms to eat because he doesn't feel comfortable leaving his place and he thinks alone. He feels frustrated when volunteers don't show up because he has been expecting them, and then he feels sad and disappointed. So with the information gathered after speaking with NGOs and people living in the street, I realized that the problem, at least in the city of Barcelona, is not the lack of food itself, but it's more related to how receiving food from the volunteers make people feel. So NGOs rely on volunteers to deliver food, and there are certain days, weeks, or moments of the year when they cannot go and help. As it's not their job, so NGOs cannot do anything to solve it, other than trying to make volunteers aware of the importance of what they are doing. But especially during cold or rainy days, or when there's a special event going on, and there are not enough volunteers, and people who have been expecting them feel sad and forgotten. So this is why, if we can solve the problem, Jose will feel more cared and included in society, improving his mood and the way he sees life and the future. After prioritizing different possible solutions that Glovo can offer, the one that turned out to be the best, especially in terms of cost, was to give a use to canceled orders. An order is canceled when a customer has ordered a Glovo and for some reason there is a problem and the order cannot be delivered to the customer. For example, if the order is taking too long and the customer decides to cancel it and get their money back, or the address is wrong and it's far. In this case, the order probably is already cooked or being prepared, and the customer or Glovo, depending on who the cancellation reason, has already paid for it. And then these canceled orders can be delivered to people who live in the street. As a result, Glovers will be able to do the same job as volunteers, but in a more constant and organized way, which will solve our problem. To validate if the solution is feasible, I gathered some information about how canceled orders are currently managed in Glovo. And right now, an average of 3% of total orders are canceled, and most of them is food that is prepared by restaurants. And right now, it doesn't exist any good system to use these orders. What they do now, in these cases, is that someone in the office calls the Glover and decides if the Glover can keep the food or he takes it back to the office. This only in cities like Barcelona that have an office. And actually, there are some Glovers that are already giving the food to people in need that they see in the street. And the days with more canceled orders are the ones with more orders in general, because the delivery times are higher and many customers decide to cancel their order. So these days are also when volunteers don't show up because it's cold, rainy, or there's a special event, which is good for our solution. Now I will introduce the different parts of the MVP. following the order of the user journey, which will be tested through a prototype. And while here it's important to say that the user of the application is not the same user persona that I worked on to find the problem. Here, the app and the process will be managed by the NGO, because the access to working smartphones for people who live in the street can be assured. And NGOs know well the people they work for, and they also will build a database of the possible recipients and their usual locations. So first of all, when an order is canceled, the user receives a notification in the app, and it's possible to see all the available orders in the screen. Second, the user can see the details of the order to know which is the location and the quantity and type of food. Then the user can accept to use this order and continue with the process. The next step is to choose who this food will be delivered to. In the MVP, the user will see a list of possible recipients that can be ordered or filtered by different parameters. For example, the distance from the restaurant. And in the last step, the user can track the delivery, add comments, and call the Glover if needed. Based on the feedback about the prototype that I got, I've drawn a roadmap with the next steps to implement. And in the second release, it will be possible to split the orders. This means that if an order is too big for only one person, it will be able to split it in two or more, so more people can benefit from it. And the app will also calculate which person is the best option for the next delivery, based on the information like last deliveries or the location. And in the next case, in the next release, the app will be automated, which means that when an order is canceled, the Glover will directly get the message to pick it up and the final destination without the user having to go through all the steps. Also, every time the Glover will deliver an order, the location of this person will be stored in the database. And finally, to know if the solution really works, we will have to follow a group of metrics. And the most important of them are, which is the total of orders delivered to people living in the street per period of time. From all the orders canceled, how many of them are successfully delivered to homeless people? How many different people got at least an order? And which is the average number of orders that a person gets? So thank you very much for your time, and I will be glad to answer any question. And thank you to all the teachers and classmates for this course and for all the many things that I could learn from you.
Thank you, Andrea, for your presentation. Do we have any questions or feedback or comments?
Well, I will say that I'm amazed about the research that you have done and all these insights about riders already giving canceled orders to homeless people and so on. I'm just wondering, how have you come up with these solutions? Which techniques have you applied?
Okay, so, well, actually this was a solution that I had in mind because my sister worked in Glovo. So this is why I knew that there were that many canceled orders, because she was getting all these orders and not people in need. So what I did, by brainstorming, this brainstorming technique, I prioritized the solutions, and this one was the winner, especially in terms of cost, because the impact was considerable and the cost was very low because the orders are already paid. So there was no use for them.
Okay, thank you. And it's a different app, right? Because this doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, great.
I'm curious about your process when you were defining your user persona and doing interviews. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, this I also based on my own experience, because I used to volunteer doing that, like delivering, well, giving food to people on the street. And for me, it was shocking, this idea that they appreciate the food, of course, but for them, the most important thing was to having one person going there and delivering it by themselves, and they were feeling special. And when we were not coming, they had, well, you could feel next day that they were feeling sad and like disappointed because they were expecting us.
Super. Congratulations, Andrea.
Thank you.
All right, so we can move to the second presentation. So next is Rafaela.
Yes, thank you. Let me present a screen. Second one. Let me know when you can see it.
We can see it.
We can see it.
Okay, thank you. So, let me give a moment. Okay, may I begin? Hello?
Yes, you can go ahead.
Thank you. Hello. Thank you for joining me here today. I am Rafaela Pestana, a student with allWomen's Product Management Bootcamp, and this presentation is about the project I developed in this course, working on a product to reduce food waste through Glovo. And why did I choose to work with this subject? Well, if I asked you if you have ever thrown food away, you probably would say yes, right? In fact, we do this quite often, and that's a problem. Because the food supply chain creates about 1/4 of the anthropogenic greenhouse gas emissions. And although one might think that this is justifiable because people have to eat, therefore we have to produce food and it has an impact in the environment, there is a huge problem because 1/3 of the food we are producing actually goes to waste. Think about that for a second. The majority of the food waste is generated in our homes, but restaurants and catering business also have an important contribution to that. And considering that they are Glovo's partners, I thought initially that there was a good opportunity here to work with them to reduce a substantial amount of food waste. And to do that, I had to understand the problem. I had to understand where and when the food waste is being generated. And as my first hypothesis, I thought that it might be generated in the restaurant's kitchen during the cooking process. But after interview with restaurant managers, I excluded his hypothesis because they didn't see this as the main problem. The second hypothesis is that the food waste is generated after the food is cooked, produced, but not sold. And restaurant managers indicated that yes, this does happen. Not everything they produce is sold all the time, but the excess food is actually donated to institutions, or maybe the restaurant employees eat it. So, although there's an economic loss for the restaurants and an opportunity to work with that, or work with it, for the purpose of this project, I excluded this one as well because food waste per se is not being generated. And the third hypothesis is the one that was confirmed, is that the majority of the food waste originates after the clients eat something and leave it on the plate. So this finding has led me to think that if a client is going to a restaurant and ordering too much food and not eating everything, the same thing must occur when she orders food from Glovo at home. But of course, she will be at her home, so whatever is left may simply be stored to be consumed in the following days. But maybe, if you have a problem here as well, maybe the leftovers are not being eaten and eventually are thrown away. And to confirm this assumption, I interviewed Glovo users and they indicated that, in fact, this does happen. Sometimes there are leftovers and sometimes those leftovers are thrown away. Mainly for two reasons. The first one is that they simply forget about it. They put in a container, put in the fridge, and it stays there for a few days and eventually goes bad and they have to throw it away. And the second reason for generating the food waste is that they don't really know how to reincorporate those leftovers in another meal. They have like this a small amount of a main dish and don't really know how to reincorporate it, compose a full meal in the following days. So it stays in the fridge for a few days, trying to figure out what to do with that, and eventually it has to be thrown away. So if we consider the entire user journey in the Glovo experience, the very last step may be something that's causing frustration to the user and is something that we can avoid. How? Well, with the product I'm proposing here, which was tested through the Wizard of Oz methodology, and have an approval rate of 80% of for the concept of the product. And what is this? Well, it's basically a way to discover recipes and how-to that are based on the food we know our users love. The product consists of a notification that will be sent the day after the purchase in Glovo, and this notification will serve as a reminder of the leftovers, thus addressing the first part of the problem. And in the notification, there will be a link to a website where the user can browse and search for recipes that are developed specifically to reincorporate leftovers, thus addressing the second part of the problem. And yes, this is a very simple concept that will allow Glovo to remind the user about possible leftovers and give them ideas on how to reincorporate the leftovers in a new and exciting way. The MVP for this product will work on increasing user engagement, and will have a notification, a web page with the cuisine items and categories, and an external recipes provider. Offering the user the option to filter recipes by ingredient would be something interesting to put in MVP as well. The notification will be sent the day after the purchase in Glovo, and it will contain a specific message about the purchase they did the day before. By clicking on the notification and the link, they will be redirected to the website where they can browse for the recipes of interest. For example, if the user has some leftover meat from the day before, she can look for recipes that are developed specifically to reincorporate leftover meat. By clicking that icon, there will be the options of recipes in that category. By clicking in the chosen one, there will be the instructions on how to follow that recipe. The second release of this product will still be working the same objective by offering cooking tips and suggestions, as well as food preservation tips. And I think this one is interesting as well, because maybe the user is not going to reincorporate the leftovers right away, and offering tips on how to best preserve the ingredients, but with better taste, texture, will reduce the food waste generation as well. And the second release can also work to increase referral by offering the option to share recipes with their friends. And by the third release, we can increase conversion by suggesting other Glovo's products that go well with the cuisine we know the user ordered the day before. So with this simple concept, we can allow our users to enjoy everything they have until the last bite and reduce food waste in the process. Thank you for your attention. If anyone has any questions.
Any questions or comments for Rafaela?
Oh, I would say well done. I really like it. I'm just wondering why it has been prioritized in the second release, this referral thing, like sharing recipes that looks actually really nice.
Why it has been prioritized the second? Well, it is an additional. It's not the main purpose of the app, that is to offer recipes, but it adds some value by allowing them to talk to their community about it and how they are doing it.
Okay, and will you be like sharing your recipes with customers or people that is not a Glovo customer yet?
Yeah, I thought it would be interesting to share with friends, not in the community of Glovo.
Okay. Okay. Great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other question or comment? You wanted to add something, Rafaela? Sorry.
No. Just say thank you to everyone.
Well, congratulations on your presentation.
Thank you.
So next is Valentina.
Okay. Just checking you can hear me okay. I'm gonna share my screen now. You can't hear me?
Yes.
Okay, you can. Okay. So I was like, no, because I always have some issues with my Jabra, so I'm just gonna share my screen. Here we go. Oops. Oops. All right, so you should be able to see. I can't see you, so apologies if I'm putting funny faces. So hello, everybody. Well, good evening. So today we're going to be reviewing the new green checkout feature on the Glovo app. As you might have guessed from the title, the direction and focus of my work has been on the environment. And the reason why I have focused the direction of my work on the environment is because I'm very passionate about it, and I feel like this feature lives at the intersection between my passion and my expertise as a product manager at Glovo. So let's talk about some data that might sound familiar, and some of it is not. It's unsurprising. So we know that net zero by 2050 is definitely not an optional anymore, but a mandatory target. We know, as we've seen it in our own business in Glovo, how we are part of this problem, and how the same day and instant delivery is actually the fastest growing consumer segment in terms of the environment. And so in all of this has been spiked even more up by the COVID crisis and just generally the rising of e-commerce. So I know that we are doing a lot in terms of actions, and we're doing definitely our fair share. But I think we are definitely missing out on an opportunity in terms of really getting in front of our 1.4 million users just in Spain, and really in front of our competitors. So in the last few months, I took the initiative of interviewing a few of our users, and I got access to a wealth of information that showed me an audience that was very much aware of the environmental impact, and that really wanted to play an active role, not only physically, but even financially. So in terms of the purposes of introducing you to this feature today, I'm going to introduce you to Miss Palmer. So Miss Palmer is Christine. She lives in Madrid, but originally from Germany, and she's an operations director for a marketing agency. So if we look at her lifestyle, we know that she's got a very busy working and social schedule that doesn't really help her in achieving her environmental goals. And she's constantly looking out for ways to simplify her busy working life, spends a lot of time doing things she likes, but she still has the need, especially when we look at it in context of the Glovo app and the experience she has with it, to get a delivery still quickly and efficiently. But she has a need of having that actual peace of mind of being able to measure her contribution. So the problem that I'm trying to solve for Christine and many others, it's actually to enable this group of people, and Christine, because we're taking her as a persona, to give them a tool that is going to be able to measure the contribution, remove that sense of guilt, and remove that sense of guilt that comes in what we understand to be almost a daily frustration when it comes to the using of the Glovo app to place a simple delivery. So let's take a look at what this green checkout feature looks like. So we have here the classic Glovo checkout journey. We can see that today the main difference is actually here in this area. We have a Go Green toggle button with a small call to action. When the user clicks or toggles on the button, they will immediately go onto the new, they will be directed to the new checkout journey. So in this second screen, as you can see here, there's an immediate color change in the background. And this is here to support really that green checkout journey. And then in terms of how the screen is divided, that we have a very clear area in the lower part, which outlines and gives the key information about the data that is being used in this delivery. decided to use an icon to simplify the transmission of this data to make it more simple for the audience to capture independently of their knowledge about the subject. And most importantly, added in the price already at this stage, because it's here to really help the user to benchmark the overall view of the data against the price that is being offered. So once the user is happy to proceed with this order, they will have the option to pressing with the button at the bottom. So here we can see that, again, the journey is very much the traditional global payment flow. And we'll be able to see as well in the next few, in the other following screens, that we have decided to keep the journey very, very simple and very familiar, but support the journey with the green color and the green touch points in terms of making sure there was a visual reward in terms of the investment that the user had done. So then once the user has checked out, the delivery is en route, the user will eventually put his phone down and come back to it. At this point in time, he will be checking for his delivery status. And when he comes back to this to check out where his delivery is, he would have received an actual message from us thanking him for his contribution. So the information that is shared with him really gives him further insights as to where the money has been invested, and gives him two options. It's to, awesome, tell me more. So you want to know more about what we're doing, or simply, I'm hungry, where's my delivery? So we're really allowing the user to make a decision. And in this stage is really where we're going to be doing the trust building part of this journey. In terms of my definition of success for this first release, I have decided to look at metrics that are associated with adoption rate and retention rate. So for me, this feature is going to be successful if we're able to convert 1 into 5 normal checkouts into a green checkout using, for example, as we just saw now, the toggle button. And most importantly, we want to see an increase of number of repeat green checkouts by the same user. So that's two key metrics. Now, there's another key metric that I would like to introduce, and this one is if the user, for example, is not interested in the green checkout, we're going to try and catch him really in the last attempt of the journey to catch him before he goes out. And here is really where we're going to try and we're going to try and convert 1 in 10 normal checkouts into a green checkout via the summary prompt. And here, what we're trying to achieve is really understand that sense of guilt and capturing that. So in terms of looking at the data and where it's taken me so far, obviously the prototype has been tested with many other users, and the results are very promising. And the information that I've gathered as well from there has helped me to basically establish that the roadmap that we're taking is the correct one, and the feature itself, as it is, has a lot of potential. So let me show you, as we are in the topic of the feature roadmap, what does this look like? So in terms of the first release, we can see that we basically looked at what I showed you just now. That pretty much summarizes the first release. And then if we look at the second release, I would like to highlight the importance of reviewing the calculator element of the journey, as well as the global curated content. And the reason is that during the testing of the prototype, there was a lot of conversation around the importance of building that trust with the user and what Glovo is doing for the environment and where is purposing. So reviewing the calculator together with curating more of the content is going to basically enable that connection and that bond. In terms of the third release, this is something that it was very much comments shared by the users again in the testing stage. And most of them asked, is there a way to default to the payment to always be green? So for me, the third release should definitely consider that the Glovo Green subscription. So In conclusion, being able to make a positive impact makes many of us feel good. If we feel good, we share good. If we share good, well, then we're definitely headed in the right direction. So that's me, my presentation, and the global green checkout feature. I'm happy to take any questions. I'm going to come out of the full presentation as I can't see anybody.
Congratulations, Valentina. It was an amazing presentation.
Oh, good. I couldn't see absolutely. I had the screen completely covered.
We were following all the way.
Amazing.
Are you wearing the Globo Pantone?
To be honest, I'm not too sure, but it could be. It's even my office same color. So I feel like every time I wear this jacket, it belongs to someone.
It's very professional. Okay, so questions or comments for Valentina?
Thank you very much. Super nice presentation and a very good idea. I have one question, but I was just reflecting. I don't have the answer myself, but do you think offering this on the checkout page, for example, which is where there is also the possibility to tip the Glover, somebody who is willing to pay, I don't know, 50 cents extra, there might be a competition between if they will pay it for this green checkout or the Glover, or do you think it might have any impact here, or maybe you already user tested this, or is it something that you would measure to understand if there is such thing?
So I guess it's something that I haven't tested because I've kept very much the focus onto the environmental cause, which I feel is the one that is more in the eye of the cyclone, if you want. So I haven't tested, but I see exactly where you're coming from in terms of prioritizing like which journey you're going to embark. But then I feel like in terms of the user, if you see it from even how the journey that I presented, there is no, especially if we keep it in the flow that it's being presented, from a user journey perspective, you're just going like your summary payment is just going to add another extra line, and it's down to you to decide how much you're going to tip the driver. And if in that day you're feeling like you're very generous, but at the same time you want to do you want to do as well the green checkout. I don't know if that answers your question. I feel like that would be something as well that would need to be discussed at a more global level in terms of like what is the company's overall vision and priorities, and it's like, okay, what is more important, and maybe you could work on in that sense as well. So I feel that maybe then if it's something like you're saying that you're like, well, maybe there's a conflict of interest, well, then maybe that part comes off, but then you have just a green subscription payment terms, and you're just all the time in your green checkout mode, and it doesn't impact then anything to do with your journey. So this is how I would possibly position it if I would come across a problem like this.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Makes sense.
Anything else? Okay, well, congratulations, Valentina, you made it. Okay, Gasal, are you ready?
Yes. So I will share my screen. Can you see the presentation?
Yes, we can see the presentation.
Okay. Hello, my name is Ghazal Maqsoudi. I'm presenting a solution to making Glovo more eco-friendly. Meet Joseph Cooper. He's 35 years old. He's a trained NASA pilot,
and he's a single dad and loves his children more than anything in the world. In Cooper's world, global warming actually has happened, and dust is everywhere and is making humanity suffer providing food. Corn is the only food resource left on Earth, and corns are dying. In order to find a new home for humans, Cooper has to go on a one-way mission and leaves his children behind. But the good news is Cooper has not been born yet, and we still have time to save our planet. Sarah was shocked when she watched Interstellar movie, and she cried a lot. After that, she started to think about climate change, and she decided to minimize her CO2 footprint. It was shocking for her when she realized that how much what we eating have an impact on CO2 and greenhouse gas. So she started to make some changes in her habits, like going vegan, use organic products, and buying from local farmers, and much more. Because she's a busy person, she can't prepare all of her meals, so she uses Glovo instead. But it's hard for her to find eco-friendly foods in Glovo because the lack of information on the app. So how many people are like Sarah lives in Spain? According to Spain News, 6 million people saying that they are limiting their limiting meat and animal product in their eating habits in their food, and trying to be more eco-friendly. And how many restaurants are eco-friendly, offering eco-friendly food in Spain? According to Happy Cow, more than 5,000 restaurants, and 9.2% of them have vegan options. So what we can do in order to help Sarah? We can, my suggestion is to add a new filter and sorting system to Glovo. Let me show you in the prototype. When Sarah opens the app and she wants to order a food from a restaurant, she will see here, if she click on the filter, she can see one eco-friendly filter, and one vegan filter. I'm not sure why it's not working, but imagine there is a vegan filter on the bottom, and Sarah click on it. She can see vegan restaurants in the app, and if she decided to search directly for eco-friendly restaurant, she will type here, and the app will show her a restaurant that are eco-friendly. And when we're talking about the sorting, let's say she's looking for a vegan restaurant. She searched for a vegan restaurant, and at first she will see restaurants that offer they are completely vegan, and after that, restaurants that have vegan options or offering vegan options, besides other kind of dishes. And when she enters the restaurant page, the food that contains vegan, that are vegan, are at the top. So how do we know if our solution is working for Sarah? But by measuring number of click on filters, number of orders, and by order value. Deliveroo, which is a app, food delivery app, UK based, implemented new tagging system, and they reported 115 growth in plant-based ordering from November 2020 to 19 to 20. For our next step, we are going to implement the our logos in directly in vegan foods, and showing eco-friendly tag whenever we are showing the restaurants, and also if we open the app, there are some offers on the top. So we don't have to leave the earth yet. That's it.
Thank you, Rafael. I love the introduction. It was like a trailer of a Netflix series. And it will be a nice feature. I will use it myself.
Me too.
Do we have any comments? Sorry.
I want to ask Kansu because she gave me the idea to using the Cooper for a story.
I love the introduction, and I love Cooper. Thank you, Gazal.
Thank you. Ask questions. Ask questions.
I don't have, because we refined this also in the class. So like for me, everything is clear right now. I don't have, I mean, I really like the idea and everything, but I don't have questions, I think.
All right. So I want to know which was the most challenging part for you throughout the entire process.
For me, it was interviewing with people, because I can't speak Spanish. So I had to find people who are using Glovo in Spain, in Barcelona, and they can speak English. And the other part was coming up with metrics, and I had to read a lot about the metrics.
And how did you achieve the interviews? How did you find these people?
I'm in the chat, WhatsApp chat. I posted ad that I need someone who can give me time to talk about, because I didn't want to ask the same people who are in the in our circle, and I wanted to have other data. That's it.
All right. Well, congratulations, Gazal.
Thank you. I'm so happy.
Okay, so next we have Margarita. I don't know if you're presenting together with Melissa.
Yeah, we do.
Yep. Okay.
Actually, we don't have Mr. Cooper, so I'm a bit nervous and I'm losing my voice. So please be patient.
Yes, true.
So I will try to start presenting. No, wait a minute. Where's my PPT? Sorry, I have a technical issues. It's not appearing in the list to share. Just a couple of seconds. I will open it again and probably it will appear. Now it should appear, right?
Yep.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, can you see it?
Great.
Yes. Super. Let's start then. Good evening, everybody. We are Melissa and me, Margarita, and we are product owners at Zurich Insurance Company. Today, we are going to explain you how we want to help humans make the transition to the digitalization of money by eliminating fear. And we will present you the Zeta cover as a sub-product inside the Clink app. Thanks to the cryptocurrency, the money can be transferred now without any restrictions all around the world. And all the transactions are registered in a unique digital document, blockchain. But the 2020 has marked the before and after in the world of digital assets. And the reason is because the Bitcoin has multiplied its price by 7 during this year. This aroused a massive interest from investors, considering digital currencies as a very lucrative option to invest, and opened up the door to the popularization of other digital products, such as smart contracts or NFTs. It is estimated that the total amount of players in the market has increased by 68 in 2020 and keeps increasing. But the digital world is not perfect, and it is still dangerous. The most popular news of this year, the Coinbase hack, that affected more than 6,000 of its users. It showed that even the most popular and powerful platforms in the market continue to have security flaws, and that investors are not protected. In the anonymous digital world, if your wallet has been hacked, nobody is responsible for it, and consequently, nobody is going to give you money back. Despite the obvious security problem, and that is a multi-trillion-dollar growing market, the 96% of crypto assets remains uninsured. At this point, we want to highlight that this is a very juicy market opportunity. And particularly, the Spanish market is the most growing in Europe right now. And we estimate, based on the official governmental studies, that are around 8.5 million Spaniards already have some digital assets. We have asked people around us what they think about cryptocurrencies and digital assets in general, and 60% of respondents show interest in acquiring digital goods, already have some in their property. If we extrapolate this number, we will talk about 12 million Spaniards, approximately. 98% of them, of these 16, indicate that they feel insecure investing or feel that they are not able to understand all the available information and are afraid of taking the first step and making a mistake. From this last group, 83% affirms that if it would exist, they would buy insurance to protect their digital assets. This leaves us with a potential market of approximately 9.5 million people. Not bad, right?
So let's get close to one of these people. Martina, she's a Spanish crypto curious. She was one of the Coinbase users affected from the 2021 hack. Despite this attack, she wants to continue investing in cryptocurrency, but some of her pain points are. Martina is afraid of making mistake in her investment because the market is constantly changing. Also, she's afraid about being left out and being scammed. Martina doesn't want to lose more money, and she feels frustrated by the excessive information on the internet. For her, this is so confusing and overwhelming. In her next investment in Coinbase, she considered buying insurance to protect against hacks. Martina looked for multiple options to cover herself, and she found some gains. Buying insurance will give her more independency and freedom when she's investing. In addition, she finds an NFT crypto community as an active group who collect and trade, and she really wants to feel included and modern. Finally, Martina would like to have more time enjoying than rather than spend a time of working. So, based on our quality research, we arrived to a following problem. Martina feels insecure investing in a digital asset, and she doesn't want to spend too much time researching the strategies. So, to improve her experience investing in cryptocurrency, Martina decides to buy an insurance, but she discovered different unknown companies in the market that offer the service under certain conditions. First, it's required to have more than 1 million custody wallet, and she doesn't have it. Then, Martina is forced to pay for the stored private keys and security tokens. Next, she sees that she has to pay monthly and annually mutual membership, and she doesn't willing to do it. Then Martina is concerned about sharing personal data to unknown companies because she doesn't feel confident. Finally, she sees all these policies conditions is difficult to understand.
So taking these insights in consideration, we believe that our value proposition should be the following. The entire process must be digital, in line with the idea of digitalizing the world of finance, paperless, without intermediaries, only you and your mobile phone, without complications, with clear and precise instructions, without restrictions. You decide how much value you want to insure, for how long, and against what risks, and also fast in hiring and into receiving the resolution to your claim. Having said all this, our assumption is that by offering insurance for digital assets that can be contracted comfortably from your sofa in less than 5 minutes through their mobile application, and that protects your money against the dangers and unforeseen of the digital world, we will eliminate the fear of investing. And so our clients will keep sleeping good at night. We will know that our assumption is true if the gross written premium will increase. This means that the people are truly interested in this kind of protection, and our product is attractive for them. If the average sum insured by client will increase over time, we will know that people feel safe to invest more. And if at least 30% of the policies will be renewed, we will know that the people like our product and they want to continue with us.
Now let's take a look at our prototype. Set a cover. It's a 100% digital solution that helps Martina to protect her investment fast and easily. Her journey starts when she accesses to her Coinbase account. She sees a set a cover ad on the top, and she really wants to calculate her insurance quickly. Martina also sees that she needs to select her Coinbase wallet, and somehow she needs to write the amount of what she needs to insure. So then, when the wallet is singing in, voila, she gets a quote easily. Only she needs to select the type of coverage and the pair of insurance to get the final quotation. After asking her friends and the community about clean set a cover, Martina decides to buy the insurance and enjoy the benefits. All she needs is to create a clean account and follow the process and also the validation process. She's going to receive somehow a phone mobile validation code to confirm this process. And then she needs to choose the payment methods. And when this is finished, the process is success. Martina can see the digital asset premium in her own portfolio list. Here in this page, she can also find the access for raise a claim and also for renewal the policies.
As our roadmap, we have prioritized based on the user's feedback to implement in the first place the get a quote functionality. This way, we will validate the appetite of the market without assuming too much risk. and we will bring the highest value of both customers and the company with the last effort at the first place. Next, we will provide the option to raise a claim and renew directly from us. And later, we will expand our payment method by adding a wallet to the already existing options.
The world is evolving. People are evolving. So the insurance needs to evolve over the time as well to take care of the people needs. We found this nice code that resume our project that you can't stop things like Bitcoin. It's like trying to stop gunpowder. It will be everywhere and the world will be have to adjust. Thank you for all for this amazing journey together.
Bravo. Thank you, girls. And are you going to implement this solution at Zurich?
Yes, really, we're willing to have it.
We're right now in negotiation with the Clink creator. So we are doing this project together in collaborations. Obviously, we're doing much more work together with him because we need a real business case, we need some quotation and some marketing strategy and things like that. But yeah, probably at some point, we guess at least together with Melissa, they will become true in some point of time, but for sure not this year.
Well, this year is about to end in 3 weeks, so next year
Yeah,
is a great milestone.
Let's see.
But at least there is interest and there are real discussions around it, let's say.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. There's a real interest, yeah. We're also always trying to innovate in Zurich, but with the products, it's really a big challenge because it's not so easy. You need to collaborate with many teams and to take many decisions because especially with the underwritings, the guys who decide how much you should pay, how much risk we can take and things like that. So it's a really long process and you need to be sure that everything you're doing is according to the legal decisions with the finance, investment and underwriting especially.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But it will be a dream to implement it.
True.
Congratulations, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anything that you will do differently if you had to start all over again?
Maybe from the perspective of the user, be more detailed because at the beginning we was like trying to see more of them, but then when we found the crypto curious profile, we definitely want to find more of them to have more interviews and because we did it, but more of them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I think that at the beginning we tried to solve all the problems. I mean, how we should work every single piece of the product. And later on, we realized that we don't need to do everything because there are other teams that should do that. And we are like just responsible for the ideation, the strategy in general, the prioritization, but later on the other team can help us and improve the process and support us. And we spend a lot of time thinking in each detail, but then it was much better. Collaborating is a great thing. We need to work in team.
For sure. Any other comments for Margarita and Melissa? No?
It was really interesting, the duet.
Yeah, that
Thank
part
you.
is also was hard to coordinate.
Yeah, I love to work with Margarita, I will say it. So actually,
Me too, Melissa.
yeah, it's easy when you find your duo partner.
Okay, ladies, congratulations to both of you. And yeah, we have come to an end.
Yes.
I can.
Now you're free. This Saturday, you don't have to connect to your class. Well, as I told your classmates yesterday, you should be super proud of yourselves because it's such like a big effort what you did. So from the allWomen side, we are super proud, and I hope that you can also be super proud of your achievements. And yeah, for me personally, like I learned a lot yesterday and today. You know, most of you like working with the global challenges, and maybe you had the same challenge, but you came out with very different solutions. And I think that that was also kind of like a creative exercise, and it was super nice to just see the results, you know. Probably your instructors that have been following up with you, and they already knew a lot, but for me, it was just like a big surprise. So congratulations to you. Thank you to the teachers. And if anybody wants to add something, this will be the moment.
Just thanks and congratulations and good luck to everybody.
No, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Yes,
Yeah.
for the
Amazing
patient.
journey.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
You
Amazing
have been a
journey.
really cool group, I would say.
We talk too much in this group.
No, that's great, actually. That's great.
I will ask for Globo right now, so to celebrate that we are finally ended. It was a really, really, really big pleasure to teach from you, to learn from you. Sorry.
No, it's true. You have their own speciality, so that's bring knowledge to us. So thank you so much, all of you, the teachers, the students, all of you. You are the expert also.
Same thing here, just to mention to the teachers, I already said this to the girls in our WhatsApp group. The ambience, I mean, the atmosphere that you created in this allWomen, I have never found it in anywhere else. I felt so comfortable, so supported. It was amazing. From the teachers and the students, all the girls are, you rock. Thank you.
Girl power.
Yeah.
So let's meet on next 2 weeks, right?
Yeah. All right, ladies. This is the end. Have a good night, and now, as usual, it's time for celebration after demo days.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Again. Have a lovely.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.